Okay, so the long-awaited Boruto Chapter 24 is finally here. After seeing some of the spoilers and some of the hilarious leaks, let's break down exactly what the chapter entails. But if you like more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, as well as joining our Discord server and copying our channel hoodies, and let's jump straight into it. So if you recall, where we left off last was Kawaki suddenly joined the battlefield with Boruto against Jura. Now remember what Kawaki's current goals are. They're essentially to get rid of the Otsutsuki clan, which includes getting rid of Boruto Otsutsuki as well, and probably himself, now that they are full Otsutsukis and they've acquired Otsutsuki power through their karma. But it seems like he kind of puts that aside to join forces with Boruto, and the chapter ends up opening with Boruto talking with Kawaki. It seems like this took place beforehand at some point, where Boruto tells Kawaki to remove his limiters by Amato, and he's gonna need his help. Now, something interesting is that Boruto went into this fight against Kashin Koji's wishes, because Kashin Koji has that new ability, that Shinjutsu, which allows him omniscience, which allows him to see potential futures based on current events. And it seemed like Boruto was going to lose in almost every foreseeable future, but Kawaki seems like he was able to help change this path. And Boruto is there in the past explaining to Kawaki that his version of the flying Raijin uses metal items, very similar to how Minato used symbols on his kunai, and how he wants to use it to flee with everybody, but the condition to teleporting long distances is that he needs to sense the chakra he imbues into his metallic items, which would be impossible to do alone, but Kawaki's here. So his primary role in this chapter is not really to fight to win, but to fight to buy time. So the first thing that happens is Jura charges him with a Bijou bomb, which Kawaki easily absorbs. So Jura suddenly appears behind Kawaki and tries to attack him, but Kawaki drops those massive cubes that Ishiki used all the time. So it seems like he's getting kind of used to his power here. He then appears, he shrinks and then appears behind Jura with a massive chakra receiver staff, and he seems to actually be doing pretty well. Their back and forth seems to be, I don't want to say evenly matched, but he does manage to get some good hits. He manages to slam right through Jura's side while Boruto is trying to resolve his flying Raijin situation. So they keep fighting. It seems like something goes on with their karma seals. I think they're resonating or something, because it seems like they disappear from their bodies, but that doesn't really change anything and they don't really note it at all. At the same time, Amato and Sumire are sitting behind a computer watching this all unfold, and I mean, honestly, it doesn't seem like either of them are really going all out 100%. Of course, Kawaki's trying to stall, but he's not trying to kill him. And then Jura all of a sudden takes out his notepad and starts noting some details. And the things that he notes is that Kawaki, Himawari, and Sarada all have awakened some power in a very short period of time. Kawaki, of course, we know he gets his limiters removed, so all of a sudden he becomes exponentially more powerful. We saw something similar happen to Code, and how he went from pretty insignificant to literally stronger than Jigen. It's pretty insane. Himawari, we know that she managed to awaken the power of the Nine Tails after it resurrecting inside of her, probably because Naruto is completely sealed. And we have Sarada, who had awakened her Mangekyo Sharingan, but we got to see her reawaken it and actually use some of its abilities to pretty much stagger Jura and his allies. And Jura deems that this is all because of love. This is a topic that he's researching. He has no doubt about it. He asks Kawaki for his opinion, but Kawaki says just that he talks a lot for a pest and tries to absolutely decimate him there with a massive blast. But of course, this doesn't really impact Jura at all, and Jura's able to completely evade this. And Jura's a little confused here. He's kind of sitting there set aback, because he's confused as to why he's trying to help Boruto when his main goal was just to protect Naruto Uzumaki. But by looking into Kawaki's eyes, he's actually able to determine that he's not gone, he's alive. And he just confirms this again by looking at Kawaki that Naruto's alive. And he then mentions that he can't help it, but he actually wants to devour Naruto. And his reason for doing so, this is our first time actually seeing why the Divine Trees are doing what they're doing, is because Naruto had a close bond with the Bijou, and in devouring him, he might learn a little bit more about love. So of course Kawaki is absolutely infuriated by this. It seems like he's about to start taking things more seriously, but Boruto reappears and says that he has a lock on the symbol using his flying Raijin, and they decide to leave, but not before Kawaki literally states he doesn't really care about love, and that his instincts were correct, that the Lord Seventh is still alive, but that to not misunderstand that he will die to Kawaki's hands. And that's where we get our iconic scene of Kawaki giving the middle finger, which I didn't even realize. I didn't even know that that was an actual panel they would include there, but I thought it was pretty funny. They teleport to Mitsuki, Delta, and Sarada and Konohamaru using one of the metallic hidden leaf symbols that Boruto has given them. Delta states that she was told to drop it somewhere because it's harder if somebody's actually holding it for him to sense it, which is pretty interesting. And Konohamaru shows us that he still has his thorn bulb, so we're making some solid progress here. On the other hand, at the same time, Kashinkoji tells Ida via a frog that she's actually next. We know that the divine tree that absorbed Bug is after her, and remember, the divine trees all have certain people in mind based on who their base person is and what relation they had to them. Like, for example, Matsuri had a relationship in a sense with Konohamaru. Of course, Sasuke is Sarada's father, so there's some connection there. And then Jura, being the head with the head of the divine trees, wants to go for Naruto, of course, who has all of the residual chakra of all the bijou, and in this case Bug, because he had an infatuation with Ida. He was actually one of the inner Kara members as part of Boro's group, who was to dispatch of her, but I mean, he just felt infatuated with her. And it finally ends off with Jura teleporting back to Hidari, back to the divine tree hideout. It seems like they're all kind of reading. They do share eyesight, and Hidari mentions a funny expression that he saw, which is totally ick in regards to their situation, and that's where we leave off. So we're in a really interesting spot. I do kind of wish we got to see a little bit more of a team dynamic with Boruto and Kawaki against Jura. I kind of wanted to see something similar to Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen, but I mean, based on what Kashinkoji saw, it seems like they wouldn't really stand too much of a chance. So even though both of them have gotten way stronger, Boruto with his training with Kashinkoji, literally using the abilities of his future self, and Kawaki getting his limiters removed, it seems like that might still not quite be enough. And Jura mentioning that Naruto is still alive. I don't know if Boruto managed to catch any of that, but that might bring some implications, and we might actually see Naruto be introduced back in the story. I don't know, there's a lot of things that could happen. I'm sure Himawari is going to keep the Nine Tails, but I don't know if any residual chakra will go back to Naruto, and we'll get to see him in action again. Maybe we'll get to see Naruto versus Hidari, almost like a Naruto versus Sasuke type of thing. I'm not sure. It seems like they're more leaning in the direction of Sarada versus Hidari. But anyways, let me know your speculation down below. There's a lot of different directions they could take this. I kind of like where the story is going. They've had a lot of interesting fights so far. The plot's pretty engaging, I think. Definitely better than the original Boruto plotline. But if you guys like more videos like this, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, as well as joining our Discord server and checking out our channel store, and I'll catch you in the next one.